Hi there, it's Richard Butler, Director of Education here at PLR.me, and I want to talk to you about content and how you can actually provide great content for your audience. Because as a coach, as a counselor, as a self-help professional, you want to focus in on what you're good at. You may not have time to write content, and even if you did, you may not know what to write. So normally what I do is I look at each week and the holidays in that week, but as you can see from the calendar, from the week beginning the 15th of September until the end of September, we don't have a lot of holidays. So I'm going to take the week of the 15th, the 22nd and the 29th, and I'm going to discuss a number of holidays that I think are useful. And the ones I'm going to focus in on are the 21st of September, International Peace Day, the 26th of September, which is Love Note Day. The 28th, well, there's a lot of people who ask a stupid question, so let's skip over that day and let's talk about the Good Neighbor Day. And one that is close to my heart, no pun intended, is September 29th, World Heart Day. Now, before I get into the specific days, I do think that we can connect a lot of the previous holidays together. Love Note Day and World Heart Day could be connected together as well. So as we go through the holidays, keep in mind that you may be able to connect all of these holidays together to keep your audience engaged. So September 21st is International Peace Day, and we all want to strive for peace because there's so much war going on and conflict, etc. So what can we do on this day? What we're going to focus in on today is looking at internal peace and how to be calm and tranquil, etc. So let me show you a couple of the top highlights for today. Well, the first thing that you could start this day or maybe a couple of days before this holiday would be this particular graphic here, which is I choose to live in peace. Because a lot of the times people live in conflict. And when you live in conflict, well then you're not at ease and you get dis-ease or disease. So think about that. You could have this inspirational graphic on social media and talk about dis-ease and encourage people to be more at ease with themselves. So sometimes people find that life is too hectic and it's not going their way. And why isn't it going their way? Well, maybe I peacefully allow my life to unfold could be a very good affirmation reflection to share today. And then we can start to move into the topic of mindfulness. So we could share this action guide, 11 ways to practice mindfulness without meditating. And then you could do a Facebook Live or record a video using this slide deck called 11 ways to practice mindfulness without meditating. So combining the two, allowing one of the resources to lead nicely into the next resource and thereby building engagement with your audience. Now, a good way to always get people to engage is to ask a question. For example, inner peace, do you have it? And then your audience start to think about that, and then you can provide the answers and solutions to them by them visiting your website. If you have a peaceful and relaxing voice, you can record over this relaxation audio, or you could go to a website like Fiverr and get somebody to record a voiceover for you. What about providing this checklist to your tribe? 7 Habits of Serenity. And this is a great resource that you can post, and I would probably recommend posting this as a free resource with no download required, because people will definitely share this and encourage people to share this if they know somebody who is not at peace or who wants more serenity. So this one definitely I would be sharing on social media, to my email list, but making sure that I have it fully branded with my company information. Finally, tying into Positive Thinking Day, you could share the Positive Affirmations Handbook Volume 1. Share this either through email, or you could provide it as a free resource that you give in your membership site, or you could just decide to post it on Facebook or LinkedIn or a document sharing site. Now, the second holiday that we're going to look at for this last 2 weeks of September, 2.5 weeks of September, is September 26th, Love Note Day. I always remember love notes when I was in school, and you'd pass a love note over to the girl that you really liked, or she might pass one to you, and it was really exciting to get them. And sometimes we forget to do things like this. So you, as a relationship coach, could encourage your clients to leave love notes for their other half, for their partner, Or as a parenting coach, you could encourage them to leave love notes for their children. Or you could just leave love notes to your partner or to your children. So you could share some love note ideas on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or on Instagram if you have an Instagram account. And it is a lovely day just to show a little bit of love. Now, we have a very, very good report here called For the Love of Love, 7 Principles for Fostering a Healthy Relationship. This is something that many people need and that many people find useful. Now, this would probably be a low ticket tripwire of $7 that you could provide. And you also have a worksheet that accompanies this. So for a relationship coach, an excellent resource here that we have today. Now, what if you are working with people who are looking for true love? You're a dating coach. We have a report here called How to Attract True Love. You could, again, use this as is, or you could break up the report into a series of webinars that you could provide live and then charge for the webinar, the live webinar, where they can do questions and answers with you. And then, of course, sell the replays to those who couldn't attend or couldn't afford the asking price for the live webinar. We have another report here called The Language of Love. So this could be very useful for coaches who study neuro-linguistic programming as well, and talking about language and using the right language for love. And yet another report that we have for a dating coach, Your Perfect Partner, a strategy for finding the love of your life. Anybody who may be single or who is looking for love would be an ideal person to provide this content for, again, as a paid product. And the final resource that I'm going to show you today is this slide deck presentation, 25 ways to tell your partner you care. Because sometimes we get so involved in our relationship that we just take it for granted. And this is a way to tell your partner, hey, don't forget, I actually care. Have a good look through the resources that are available for you today, because we have a lot of great content, and start planning what you're going to do with those resources. Now, let's talk about Good Neighbor Day. Certainly I know here living in Barcelona and in the neighborhood that I'm living in, there is a great sense of community. I know many of my neighbors. I talk to the local shopkeepers, I go into the local supermarket, they greet me by name, etc. So today you can talk about being a good neighbor within maybe where you live and within the community that you live in as well. So one of the ideas here is you could connect with your audience by spearheading a project in your own neighborhood. And this ties in with our ideas of community, of charity, of volunteering, which again ties into one of our previous holidays in September. As always, with these holidays, we have a bundle which saves you time searching for items and also gives you a 20% discount when you actually buy this bundle. But I'm going to focus in now on a number of resources that I think are useful. But remember, there are many more resources available on the page which you can, of course, look at and use. Reconnecting with one of our previous holidays, we have I Support My Community. And this is an affirmation reflection that you can use to help your clients reflect on how they support their community. If you feel that you've lost a connection with your neighbors, or you're new to a neighborhood, or your client is new to a neighborhood, what about this article here? 10 simple ways to connect with your neighbors. If you do have clients who are shy, maybe they have self-confidence issues, maybe you're a dating coach like we talked about in Love Note Day, this slide deck presentation, 25 ways to meet new people, would be an ideal resource that you could use, you could record, you could present at a seminar, at a networking meeting. You could use this in many different ways, and it could help a lot of people. And our final resource today is an action guide, 25 ways to be a good neighbor. So rather than thinking, well, are these neighbors good? Why don't you set the example and become a good neighbor? And these 25 ways are going to help you do just that. Now, our final day is World Heart Day, and that happens on September 29th. Why is this special to me? Well, earlier in 2019, I actually had to have a little heart operation because I had what's called an arrhythmia, which my heart sometimes fired off, start to beat too fast, and it wouldn't slow down by itself, or it would have trouble slowing down by itself. So National Heart Day is something that I think is a wonderful day, because obviously we want to look after our heart. Now this could tie into Love Note Day, because you want to have a heart, you want to show more love and share love. So apart from using that theme of love and of having a big heart, this day could be used by diet coaches, nutritionalists, fitness coaches to talk about obviously dietary needs and cardiovascular exercise and to have a healthy balance. Again, you could tie in ideas about mindfulness in order to help you calm down and to keep you calm and so that your heart doesn't get stressed. A couple of other points are stopping smoking or weight loss or talking about exercise in general. So let's focus in on a couple of resources that you could use today. Well, here's a great resource, a 5-day Get Moving challenge. So over 5 days, you challenge people to get moving and to become more active. A really good resource and something that you could use to build your email list. Everything you need is actually provided here for you to start this challenge, and people like challenges. You could start this challenge by saying, well, there's only 3 months left of the year. In 3 months, it's going to be nearly New Year's Eve. So let's get moving, let's get yourself fit. And that could lead into a whole series of emails, reports that you can provide, or webinars that you could actually put on. So if you really want to take things up a notch, why not launch a course? And you may say, Richard, I can't launch a course. Well, you can. Here we have Lose Weight, Cutting Calories Made Easy, Diet and Nutrition course, which gives you everything you need to start a course about diet and nutrition. Now, what can you do with this course? You could record it, you could have it as a webinar, you could present it live, you could publish it on the web on places like Teachable, Udemy, etc. And by the way, we do have a very good free training on how to actually produce a Udemy course. So you may never have thought about producing a course, but today is the day that you could start talking about it, or that you could actually launch the course in order to get maximum impact. Now, what about launching another course? I know you say, Richard, you've just told me about launching one course and now you're talking about another course. Well, what about this? Lose Weight, Burning Calories Made Easy. So this would tie in nicely with the 5-day challenge that we talked about earlier. Now, we did talk about quitting smoking. So we have a checklist here, getting through your first day when you quit smoking. You could use as a resource that you give them after your first support session with them. Here we have an accompanying article of how to get through your first day when you quit smoking. So you could publish this article on your blog with a call to action to contact you if people need support in quitting smoking. And finally, coming back to ideas for health and nutrition, you could publish this report, Ancient Superfoods, because a lot of the times people don't know that there are certain foods which are better for you and will help you in your nutritional and dietary needs. And these are foods that have been around for years and years and years. If you're tying everything together, you could tie it in with obviously nutrition and fitness. Giving up smoking, well, now that you're giving up smoking, it's time to eat healthier, and here are some ancient superfoods that are going to help you. So that was 4 holidays that we covered for the last 2.5-ish weeks of September. Look at the resources, find the resources that you want, plan ahead, and you will be able to engage your tribe, and people will look to you as the authority figure for content in the self-help market. Of course, I will be here next month in October telling you about the important holidays that are coming up and helping you find content that is going to engage your audience and help you stand out as a wonderful content provider. I'll talk to you in October.